Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different and something new. So I'm calling this series From Bust to Broke. It's pretty much a series where I make custom support for a pre-existing archetype. I'm going to try and make sure these cards are not super broken. I want to have them on a nice level where it's something that can maybe bubble a regional, but not, break through the meta, have high rank, nothing like that. Just something that gets it to a playable level, something that you can feel confident in taking and not completely fail with. I want to give one mention before this video starts to Rank-Up-YGO. He's kind of a person where I'm kind of, just looked at, I was like, I kind of want to do that. He has his own series called The Dream Theme, which is probably better than mine since he can get art. I don't have art. But he does it for a single card for one archetype. I'm going to do a little bit different. I do 3 cards for an archetype in each video. So, from the title, we're doing spellbooks / prophecies for this first video. It's one of my favorite archetypes. It's something I really like. Came out in the era where I first started picking up cards as a player, and it's fast, but it doesn't do much, and something I like, so I want to boost it, try to get it better, but try to make it feel very simplistic, and what it does have the kind of just simple combos, nothing too combo-y where it starts, doing a bunch of shenanigans. Just, it sets up a very simple board, but with their simple cards they can do a lot. That's what I plan to do with this archetype, and I do have to take a few liberties in trying to get everything to work together because spellbooks and prophecies for names don't work that well. That's something you already know. A lot of spellbook cards search just on their spellbooks, and there's barely any search for prophecies. So let's get into this. I've already taken too much of your time. We'll start off with the first card, which, quickly, names, they're not that important. If you want an explanation to each one, just go to the description. But the first card is Spellbook of Paper Melody. It is a monster. It's going to be a spellcaster effect, of course. Attribute doesn't matter, so I just threw on Wind, and it's a level 5 with 2215 for its stat line. That's not too important. What's important is the effect. The first thing is just some quick fixing up of the type of card. It is always treated as a spellbook card, just so it's able to be searched out by the spellbook cards. Be able to go for that huge pool of searching, and you'll be able to get this card now. And I just didn't want to, go through the hoops to try and throw it into the name. It's just a bit weird. But its effect reads, you can reveal one spellbook spell within your hand to special this card from your hand or graveyard. And you can only use this effect of this card once per turn, so it's a hard once per turn on its effect to summon. I think that's pretty fair. It's a good body, it's pretty easy. You're generally going to have a spellbook spell in hand to reveal with this card, so that's definitely not a problem. It helps getting into the Link 2 that we have, and also it helps, pay for the cost of Spellbook of Knowledge. But we gave one more effect. I made a nice soft once per turn because if you can get multiple copies of a level 5 monster on the field, I think it's fair game too. Its effect is that for cost, you can send a Spellbook spell to the graveyard. That's pretty important, but its effect also is very good, where you can add a prophecy monster from your deck to your hand. So dumping the spell for cost is very nice. If you can trigger the effect, if you can activate it properly, you'll be able to at least dump the spell, even if the rest of the effect gets negated. That isn't bad in any sense, since you can copy its effect with Master, you can recycle it with the Tower, you can banish it for Fate. That's definitely a bunch of good things. And I've made one card that synergized with this card a little bit, but also adding a prophecy. Finally a searcher for the prophecy monsters themselves. Of course, you can get Blue Boy, High Priestess, and the rest of them. I made a few a bit more viable through the support that I made, but that's the first card. It's pretty good. Hope you liked it. The second card, definitely you can argue if this card is broken, because this card is a very good card. So it is Spellbook of War, which is a continuous spell. So I made it have 2 effects that are hard once per turn and a lingering effect for the first effect. The lingering effect is just like Orchestrated Babble, but for prophecies and spellbooks. So for prophecy monsters on the field, and also spellbook spells set to the spell and trap zones, which I'm pretty sure it can read the name even though they're set cards. I know it doesn't work like that for monsters, but I think it works like that for spells and traps, at least because you are the one who set them. I think that works. Card ruling are a little bit weird. Tried to have the proper text. Card writing aficionados, please tell me how I messed up in the comments. But pretty much, prophecy monsters on field, set spellbook spells, become quick effects. So I think that's pretty good. It makes High Priestess into a Dryden, and there's a few others that are a little bit better because of this. But yeah. Then the broken effect, the super ooper duper broken effect. If a spellbook spell is activated, you can special a prophecy monster from the deck. Don't worry, this is a hard once per turn. I already said that. So we're only one. You only get one per turn. Of course, if you can activate it, it's a trigger condition, so you can do it during your opponent's turn. So that isn't bad at all. Yeah, being able to special in the deck, it definitely brings viability to a lot of the ones that it was like, okay, it's very hard to put on the field. Boom, it just puts it out, you're good. And I tried to check through all, make sure nothing was super broken. Most of it's fine. You could probably splash other spellcaster cards, but they would become the main focus of the deck. You may be able to splash in some Witchcrafters, and I think that's perfectly fine. And the last effect, as I did say, there's a card that synergizes. If this card is in your graveyard, you can reveal 1 spellbook spell in your hand to set this card from your graveyard to your field. I think that's cool. Again, hard once per turn, so if it gets popped and you're like, okay, I'm going to set it back, if it gets popped again, you're done for the turn. You can't do it. But I think that's pretty good. It's pretty similar to certain new cards that have releasing on its, being able to re-get itself back to the field. Seems pretty balanced. Fine for spellbooks. It makes sure you're playing pure spellbooks to do it. So again, I think that card is also very good. And the last card I made was a normal spell, Spellbook of Divine Comedy, and it has 2 effects. So to activate one of these effects, you can special summon 1 prophecy monster from your hand. Done, that simple. And the second is you can target 1 spellcaster monster in the graveyard cost, so it could be called by the grave. Special summon it, but I put a bonus on it. Then, if you targeted a prophecy monster with this effect, you can add a prophecy monster from your deck to your hand. Again, helping with the searching of the prophecy cards. Again, there should be probably more good prophecy cards made. That's definitely one of the big priorities. But, being able to get very good access to him is definitely something that can also be put on the table. So yeah, being able to search. And also, you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So you can activate it multiple times, but you can only use each of the effects in the turn. So you'll be able to activate it twice every turn if you're able to get the copies of it. So, but yeah, hope you thought the cards were good. Please tell me in the comments, roast me, flame me, however. Were they good? Were they bad? Were they designed poorly? Overwhelming, underwhelming, whatever. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for supporting me, as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, goodbye.